Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Annabelle-Gordonas, and I would like you all to welcome in our subject as we are commencing for our week one orientation. So, how are you all? I hope you're feeling better because I assume that you were busy attending your online classes and checking your MS Teams and Google Classroom Learner Management System. So later on, during our synchronous lectures, we are going to discuss our core syllabus, requirements, grading system, etc. For now, uh, I'll be discussing about the sections of e-learning and flexible learning, transition from F to F to flexible learning, digital citizenship, dedicated for online learning, and navigating mental health for students. I understand that some of you were not able to attend trainings and webinars. So, with this orientation, this is the best way for you to also maybe remind yourselves how to cope up in this new normal. So, we are going to do this during our synchronous lecture. The activity is called quizzes. Okay, so later on. So when COVID-19 has thrown a curveball at us, there was an emergency. Okay, life is not normal. There is crisis where safety, security, and well-being are high stakes. So as a teacher that time, I was thinking of my students. Okay, I was looking at how you are sustaining the Maslow needs that we are supposed to embrace because when pandemic started, actually it has created a massive impact in our lives. Okay, so how are you when it comes to the hierarchy of needs according to Maslow? But as a teacher, I am also thinking of the kind of education that you'll be embracing during this new normal. And bingo, when flexible learning was pushed by the Commission on Higher Education, there our world turned upside down. So I hope in this time of pandemic, I guess that you are sometimes caught stressed, especially now as we begin our classes. But in this talk, I would like you to have a short reflection, I guess, or maybe have a good time reflecting on how, from the past few months, how were you able to cope up? No? The different questions that are actually confusing you, right? And how are you coping with your family in this time of pandemic? So the education sector around the globe is actually one of the most affected areas, no, in this time of pandemic. There are around 1,235,602,579 students who are considered to be affected learners, no? And not to mention those who are not able to were not able to have access to the type of technology that we are embracing right now. So before COVID, actually as a teacher, we normally do our functions like in the field of instruction, where what the usual face-to-face routines that we do in the classroom. We also have community extension. That's where the university, in cooperation with the administrators and students or teachers, students as well, are visiting community in order to extend various services that a university may give or may provide to a certain organization. Okay. Then the next one is teachers are bound and mandated to fulfill their obligation in research. So if you have observed that a majority of your teachers are into research, okay? Another one is for publication. So, and of course, the most important person that we do have in our hearts is our students. So, yun yung concern namin. However, when COVID has started to impact our lives, no, it actually changed from the normal pressures that we face every day. We do have the first one is the administrators, the parents, and the students. Here comes another one that's COVID-19. We're very thankful because the Department of Education and the Commission on Higher Education have been very supportive when it comes to fulfilling our or maybe responding to the challenges of COVID contagion. Okay, so this is, let me share to you, uh, a research finding on how students see their teachers, because there are types of students or types of teachers that we normally look up to based on our point of view. Okay, so the first one is a teacher who is called to be disdainful. Okay? So this is a teacher who is vindictive and merciless, especially when it comes to deadlines, right? It is a teacher who doesn't give considerations, especially if some students are already having their on-the-job training, okay? Or maybe um, that's their personality. Okay? We should always remember, my dear students, that we come from different diversities. We have different characteristics. No? So sometimes we experience this type of a teacher. We also have this type of a teacher, the mighty famous big shot. He is a teacher is exciting, impressive. The way how he talks, the way how he um, explains the lesson is on point. Okay, so but beware of this type of a teacher because um, he also gives baits and switches in the classroom. Okay, and another one is beloved babbling grandpa. A teacher is easy, relaxing. A teacher introduces us to more classical ideas, history about history, and other notable stuff where uh, it's really fun to be with these types of teachers. Okay, another one is the genius from another dimension. This is a teacher is loony, entertaining. What else? Um, However, he's scary because sometimes, uh, since he is omniscient, so if we'll not study or we will not advance from the lessons that he is about to unfold in the class, so we will be left tongue-tied, right? So preparation is the key for this type of a teacher. And another one is the gloom and doom. This is a teacher who is considered to be talking about creepy stuff in the classroom, and you should be prepared because sometimes um, it's already weird, no? You have listened to from her lectures. And the other one is the single theory to explain everything. A teacher is always fond of giving and sharing theories in the class, and she's also considered to be omniscient and powerful, so please be careful with this type of a teacher. The next one is the incomprehensible brilliant foreigner. This is a teacher who is famous, an accommodating teacher, friendly, approachable. If you have questions, he or she gets you get easily a reply from this teacher. So um, she is a one of a kind of a teacher where um, you get to be very inspired because she has a lot of indispensable things to offer. Okay, and lastly is the nice little nobody, a teacher who seems to not exist at all, who does not impact your life. So I hope wala namang ganitong teacher that we have experienced. So are teachers and students ready for this? Because whether we like it or not, these unprecedented times are actually really trajectory to what and who will be in the future. Actually, online learning has been considered to be alternative long before COVID, but now this is the new navigation that we are obliged to follow. So when Shed pushed for flexible learning among higher education institutions, so there is no better way for us not to follow this type of mandate. So here comes the flexible learning introduction where according to Shed Memo number 4, series of 2020, it is a pedagogical approach allowing flexibility of time, place, and audience, but not solely focused on technology. Originally, flexible learning could also be gauged with the face-to-face classes, but for now, because we are observing safety protocols, it's not possible for that. Okay, so It's a set of educational approaches and systems concerned with providing with increased choice, convenience, and personalization to suit their needs. So meaning this is made for all of the students so that because we know that we come from different diversities. If, for example, we do have different learning motivations, learning styles. We come from different cultural backgrounds, socioeconomic status. That's why this is offered, so that students would be able to have access, to this type of education. In PUP, we are adapting FlexTel, where the accompaniment of technology enhanced learning is introduced and provided to the students and the teachers. So, according to OVPAA Advisory Number 1 Series of 2020, we do have two types of delivery modes which will be implemented in the first semester. That's online and correspondence mode. And faculty members, after securing the class master list, shall initiate contact with their students via email or SMS. So it's also stipulated there that during the first video conferencing, it must include class orientations, platform to use for the asynchronous or asynchronous, schedule of video conferencing sessions, class coordinator who may upload the instructional materials, virtual classroom rules or netiquette in the grading system, and other stuff. Later on, we are going to discuss this in our synchronous lecture. The department heads, academic heads, shall submit to the Human Resource Management Development every 15 days of the month the consolidated screenshots. That's why it's imperative for us to do screenshots, because this is one of the bases where teachers are checked if they are holding classes in the classroom, in the online classroom. So we should comply with the public advisory on the conduct of classes using video conferencing services issued by the Department of Justice Office of Cybercrime. Thus, PUP recommends the use of Zoom for synchronous method in the MS Teams 365 A1 Plus for asynchronous. So if you have concerns about your webmail, you may contact ICTO Help Desk at pup.edu.ph. Okay? So we also have another advisory. Students using the correspondence learning mode may be allowed. Okay, you are allowed to sit in during the video conferencing. That you will use the or submit the course requirements of the correspondence mode. Later on, we're going to discuss this in our synchronous lecture. So, as a student in this time of pandemic, we need to understand what's the characteristics of flexible learning. So, when you say rich learning resources, okay, undeniably, there are heaps of materials that you can download in the internet. One of the best ways to use for resources is googlescholar.com. There are heaps of open educational resources. Yung iba may license, hindi libre, while others, a majority of it are actually for free. So it's not a problem anymore for you to go to the library face to face, because in the internet you'll get to download heaps of materials. Another one is learner-centered or learner-centered. Flexible learning is based on the concept of constructivism, where students are already independent learners. Kahit wala yung teacher, you're able to adapt your own understanding, create your own creativity, because you're able to process what is indicated in the module. For example, if you're in the correspondence mode without the assistance of the teacher, you can thrive and survive. Another one is the ownership of learning. Students are given the chance to fully bloom, and exercise their independence, their mastery of learning, because it's not all the time that teachers are there. You're given the chance to construct your own meaning, to discover your own understanding on some particular concepts that your teachers are giving you. Okay, and the last one is diversified resources. However, as a student, you should be careful when it comes to selecting or citing sources, because this is one of the things or issues confronting education today. Some students are plagiarizing some materials in the classroom. So, what do teachers need to do in order to demonstrate that they have met the learning objectives? So, kaya nga meron tayong synchronous versus asynchronous. In my class, so we are required to have 6 minimum online meetings. So when we say synchronous learning, it involves online studies that are conducted with the aid of chat or video rooms. Okay, so it's real time. Everybody in the class is involved and there with the guidance of the teacher during the video conferencing. So in PUP, it's not required in the attendance, but I hope I can see you every time I got to have the online lecture, because it's one thing for us to maybe solve the problems which are battling in your or in the bees in your bonnet, or maybe I can answer some of the questions that you would like to raise. Okay. So asynchronous, on the other hand, since we will be using MS Teams in our class, so this method can be carried out online and offline. Asynchronous learning involves coursework delivered by web and email, and message boards that are posted by online forums. So, as expected, actually attended various seminars and adapt myself with the various learner management system like Google Classroom, Schoology, Edmodo, Doodle. But in the end, I would like to use MS Teams because it's the hub of um, Office 365, and you have a webmail, and it's not difficult for us to do that. Kasi my license at PUP. And uh, the the external drive is quite big and huge, where I can or the students or teachers can save materials and resources. So when you say e-learning and flexible learning, we do have different types. The first one is contact learning, the residential or the face-to-face class, the distance learning and e-learning, which consists of online learning and modular learning, where students are already sending the soft copies of their learning resources. And the last one is the paper-based distance learning. Ito yung correspondence mode na tinatawag in our university. So why flexibility? As what I have mentioned a while ago, this when you say flexibility, it does conform to the understanding that this is offered because it does answer the needs of the students. The priority is the students, where the teachers are adjusting as regards the course content, lessons, assessments, or performance-based tasks because of the current situation that we are in now. It could be done through choices. So it depends on the teacher. Maybe some of your teachers are using Google Classroom, using Zoom account, or Microsoft Teams. So, yon. But before doing that, of course, teachers are doing the needs assessment. It's customized because we don't have the same channels on how we design our classroom or virtual classroom in the MS Teams. It's also personalized and open. My dear students, let us remember that we are in the age of openness, and we need to embrace what we have seen and receive, the kind of information that we acquire in this time of pandemic. So this is the categories of e-learning. We have synchronous, asynchronous, and e-learning offline. So when you say e-learning synchronous online, yeah, these are the examples. Messenger, we have Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, and other stuff. And when you say e-learning asynchronous online, students learn at different times and locations, no real-time interactions with internet requirements. This is another mode that we're going to embrace in our class, my dear students. So when we say asynchronous, actually this could also be in a form of a debate, case study, portfolio, videos, Google Documents, messages, discussion boards, wikis, etc. But the what's good in there is that you can have an access to the materials in your own place, pace, and pathway of study, because the teacher will give the time that students are given the chance to perform or maybe comply the requirements stipulated. For example, in Unit 1 for 2 weeks, you're going to comply this study, okay, or this requirement. So it depends on your creativity. And the last one is e-learning offline. Students are using digital resources packaged online while not connected to internet. So it could be hard drive, for example, CD, flash drive, DVD, where students can maybe send or may send a USB to the teacher, and then the teacher saves all the materials and resources. But in our university, it's not uh, being done because we only have two correspondents. Pwede, just, through asynchronous by posting the files in the MS Teams, for example. And the next one is the modular learning approach. It's an individualized instruction using self-learning modules, either in print, in as sinasabi ko, um, correspondence mode, or digital through electronic copies. So it boils down to a lot of preparations. When the pandemic started, actually, all of us are training or attended. All of us attended trainings now when it comes to technology, how to make modules or how to craft modules, how to cater the support the learners needs, our students needs in this time of pandemic, so that at the end of the day the focus is how to prepare our students when it comes to academics, emotionally, pwede, mentally, and other stuff. Kasi as a teacher, it's not only our role to guide you mentally. We are bound to nurture you holistically, emotionally, mentally, psychologically, and other stuff. Okay. So what is a module? So I guess we have already opened some of our some of the important things that you need to know about our subject. So please watch out for the modules that I'm going to upload in our MS Teams virtual classroom. So it's a unit, chapter, topic, or segment of instruction. It's a standard unit or instructional section of your course that is a self-contained chunk of instruction. So it depends on the teacher. For example, the unit in Unit 1, you have um, three topics, which are considered to be allocated for 3 weeks or 1 month. So it depends on your teacher. Okay, so these are the parts of the module that you'll be um, embracing in the new normal: instructional materials, the course files, learning packages, technology-based resources, and the instructional modules. And of course, do not forget the assessments, which will reflect your performance in your subject. So this is an example of the module that I do, but this was designed by um, Doctor for the title pages in the preliminaries. This was actually designed by our chair, Dr. Edeline Danyalan, and see how committed is Ma'am Danyalan to do this stuff. Even if she's busy, but then she's also doing her best how to extend support to the faculty. So this will be our live starting uh, during the first semester. I don't know in the second sem. I hope everything will be back in normal. But for me, I guess it's not possible for now. No? So when you are embracing the online mode, so these are the issues that we are that we will be confronting every day: sensitivity issues, because some teachers or maybe the students as well. No? They are sometimes inconsiderate as to the preparation of the teacher and vice versa. Connectivity issues, some of the internet, no? Some are slow and weak, and pedagogy issues. Is online delivery effective? Is it okay to message my teacher at 11 p.m.? Is it okay to just screenshot my assessment, and other questions? And the another one is device resource availability, etc. So I can relate with you. For the past 6 months, I've been using the data, but then thanks God, because in August I was able to get my Wi-Fi connection. So do not worry if sometimes you have difficulty in internet connection, because I can relate with you and I will really understand your situation. But what I'm trying to say here is, please, if you can have the chance to attend online classes, do it, because we are we do have a minute time, no, to have that synchronous lecture with your teacher. So take a look at this. I guess you're familiar with this figure. So this talks about the high bandwidth and high immediacy when it comes to doing synchronous and asynchronous modes. Okay, the first one is when you do have the video conference and audio conference like this. Um, uh, Pwede ito because you are going to have um, the requirements. So for high bandwidth, ito yung video conference, tapos high immediacy because you need to be there. You need to attend the class. You need to take note of what the teacher is sharing, right? So as regards pre-recorded video, just like what I am doing now, I'm going to upload this one in our MS Teams. You get to download this if you want, but you are not allowed to share this to others for copyright issues. And for now, also ang bullying and other stuff. I hope you're going to also protect your teachers and your universities copyright issues. Okay, so asynchronous discussions with video, high bandwidth because you're going to download materials like the modules, this video that I'm making now, and other stuff. However, the immediacy is not that it's not that high. Okay, for recorded audio, asynchronous discussion with audio. Now, high immediacy pero low bandwidth, ito yung naman collaborative documents, group chat, and messaging. We also have low immediacy and low bandwidth like discussion boards, email, and reading with text images. So this will be the different challenges that we'll be embracing in this new normal. I cannot assure you that every meeting I can have a good internet connection. I hope the mutual understanding is there. Okay, my dear students. So let's have the needs assessment. The mobile internet speed in the Philippines. When it comes to the Philippine status, we are 116th, no, or 14.24 Mbps among the 141 surveyed countries. And fixed line internet speed, Philippines is 104th among 176 countries. So you see how how speedily it is, no, for us to do online classes. And take a look at this. According to the study of SEDTA in 2012, when you download some parts in the email, in documents, etc., and web browsing, the download speed, for a single user should be 500 kbps. You download one MB digital book in 5.3 seconds. That's 1.5 Mbps. Online learning 250 kbps. HD quality video streaming, that's 4 Mbps. Skype group video session where you have 7 to 10 people, 8 Mbps. In downloading 6144 movie in 8 minutes, no, that's 100 Mbps. So see, it will only take heaps of data for you to be able to have access to education. So that's why you need to choose whether correspondence or online mode. But I understand that your parents have been very supportive, because I actually expected that there'll be many students who shall choose correspondence mode. But then when I checked my class list, siguro 90 to 95% are into online. So I'm happy with that, because for me, it's better that we do have online lectures where we can get to ask questions to your teachers, may kumustahan, kasi nga would you have the limited meetings. So poor connectivity will lead you to lower productivity. That's why you need to be decisive when it comes to choosing your mode. So online learning na that we always synchronous, it can also be asynchronous. In our class, normally we will have the 1 hour lecture, while the other stuff will be done through asynchronous, where we upload our materials, the quizzes, the things that you need to do, and other notable stuff, no, for our subject. So that's all about Flextel or flexible learning. So for now, let me remind you some of the important things that you need to observe and project when you are in my virtual classroom or kahit hindi sa akin, sa ibang teachers, okay? So, when you say network etiquette, that is the etiquette of cyberspace. Etiquette means the forms required by good breeding or prescribed by authority to be required in social or official life. So, may mga guidelines yan. Gaya ngayon, no, I'm giving you guidelines on how to project yourself as a digital citizen, okay? It is anchored on respect, it is culture based, it is malleable, no? No. It's flexible. No? So, ito yung mga aspects of netiquette in online learning, online communication and interaction. How do you communicate with your teachers? Actually, sa group chat, you don't need to say good morning kasi natatabunan yung mga important announcements. So, if you think that's very important, or maybe you can cascade the information through your president or the question through your president, and then the president does the questioning to the teacher. I mean, we can do this, no, because some of your teacher, a majority of your teachers are also busy, no, to attend to the various inquiries in the group chat. Internet privacy, when to contact your teacher, normally try to check your schedule. If it's 11 p.m., do you think it's possible for us to contact our teacher? So we also need to also embrace this type of challenge that may mga bounds and limits din tayong kinukonsider. The digital footprint, ano yung image na pwede nating mai-project as a student of Polytechnic University of the Philippines. Pag meron tayong reklamo, nagpo-post ba agad? Or maybe pwede pa natin i-process para kasi what we post online will also reflect who we are. And sometimes in the future, your future employers are also checking your Facebook post, kung ano kayo, how do you perform, and other stuff. Okay, social media, technology tools, hardware and software, credits to original ideas and materials, copyright, and my dear students, I do have the Turnitin account where I can check, especially when it comes to research activities. So please beware of copying and pasting information, because sometimes I have experienced that students are just copying it because they do the same. They do have the same answers, which are basically copied from the internet. And the last one is digital citizenship and civility. How are we uh, projecting ourselves as a student in this university? Do we easily confront, no, the university if may mga problema, issues and challenges? So, or pwede pa bang masikil siya within, or maybe by contacting the deans, the chairpersons, and other stuff. I'm happy naman because your presidents are doing their best, no? They're to maybe ask questions and um, for me to also give my answers, not to the various needs in their body. So when we say digital empathy, it means the ability to be aware of, be sensitive to, and be supportive of one's own and others' feelings, needs, and so on. Okay, so it's the ingredient to strengthen digital intelligence quotient. So may sinasabi nga, di ba, my wall, my right. No, you don't have the right to, may mga bounds and restrictions ako dito sa wall. I can write anything. So mind your own business. So sometimes it's also reflect on this because we are also representing the type of institution that we are in right now. So we do have the digital commerce, digital downtime, ano yung mga etiquette when you are in your online lecture and other stuff. So it says here a student with a high DQ is future ready, because you also need to inculcate and integrate professionalism when you are in the virtual classroom. So how do you do that? Ito yon. Set up your creative space. So you need to maybe choose a particular place sa bahay nyo na hindi maingay so that you can collaborate with your classmates whenever there are things that you need to do in the classroom. Prepare everything you need. Hindi naman pwedeng kung wala ka namang laptop, huwag mo nang pilitin yung parents mo na bumili. Pwede naman sa cellphone. And kung may earphone kayo, mas maganda rin, right? And be on time because time is of essence and kahit student pa tayo, we need to also practice time management. Okay? Proper greetings. You need not greet your teachers in the group chat sa Facebook Messenger. Meron naman tayong uh, MS Teams. You can do greetings. No? In our MS Teams, the judgment alert. Be careful in how you write your messages to your teachers because sometimes it does reflect you. But Juliet, some of the questions are already raised in answer, but then some of the students are repetitive of the uh, questions no, raised in the class. Avoid clash of classmates. So let's try to be observing courtesy in the classroom that we have. No to mukbang. So when we say mukbang, it's where you eat in front of the camera. So I hope you'll not do this. Try to eat na before you attend your classes. Use magic words and be kind and professional. Okay? So ito naman yung NADICAD guidelines stipulated in our memo issued by the Vice President for Academic Affairs by Ashley Brooks. Ayan. No yelling, please. So there's a time and a place for everything. But in most situations, typing in all caps is inappropriate. So most readers tend to perceive this as shouting regardless how intelligent your responses be. Okay? Next one is sarcasm can and will backfire. So sarcasm has been the source of plenty of arguments as the commander's intent is difficult to understand. So what seems to be a joke could come across as off-putting. As a rule of thumb, it's best to avoid sarcasm and make sure to be polite and direct when communicating. So don't abuse the chat box. Ito yung sinasabi ko, no? Chat boxes are incorporated into many online classes as a place to share ideas and questions. It can be a helpful resource or as a major distraction. Students might use this to talk about irregular topics. I'm happy naman because they are not posting mga unnecessary things in our group chat. Never do that, okay? Attempt to find your own answer. One's first instinct, if confused or stuck on an assignment, is to immediately ask a question. However, before you ask whether it's related to class structure or even due dates, take time in figuring it out first by referring to given resources. Should your questions remain unanswered after a bit of effort, feel free to bring them up with your instructor. Okay? Stop. Grammar time. Always make an effort in using proper punctuation, spelling, and grammar. Okay? Mistakes relating to these can distract the reader from the point of your message. On the other hand, be reasonable about others' grammar mistakes as nobody likes the grammar. Please set a respectful tone. Every day may feel casual in an online classroom where you don't see anyone in person. However, it is still expected to have a certain level of formality in communicating with instructors. In addition to proper punctuation and spelling, it's good to use respectful greetings, signatures, full sentences, and etc. 7. Submit files the right way. Instructions are essential for online submission. So thus, ground rules, naming conventions and file forms, for example, should always be followed. So receiving words that do not adhere to the given protocols means a student is not paying attention. So be careful. I am very much meticulous about this when you submit requirements. Be sure to always include the right amount of information that you need to include in your submission requirements. Think before you type. What you share in an online classrooms is part of a permanent digital record. What you say privately can easily become public. So a good rule of thumb to follow is if you are comfortable to stand up and say a message in front of a classroom, then it's most likely okay to share. Be kind and professional. one could still fall prey to treating someone poorly because of the distance between screens. Maintain kindness and respect in making comments, even if you disagree with someone. Exhibit politeness and professionalism the same way you would in a real life classrooms. Okay, so that is all about the etiquette in online learning. I guess our college has been orienting you with the heaps of information that you need to embrace in this new normal. So I have here a question: technology causes mental illness. So let's see. Based on research, 61% of the people have felt jealous, depressed, sad, or annoyed after checking updates on their social media accounts. 3 out of 5 people spend more free time on their computer than they do with their significant other, and 73% of people believe their use of electronic devices has contributed stress in their lives. So, my dear students, do not engross yourselves too much of that, of a technology mode kind of environment. Well, maybe a majority of your time are spent. So take time to rest and enjoy your family time, because anxiety and depression are a thief. It steals your time, health, intimacy, energy, and fun. So as we embrace the new normal, collaboration is the key. We need to ask questions. We need to collaborate with our classmates. We need to exercise that you are not alone in this trying times. And we do have foremost our family who will be there to support and guide us. Okay? So I have here some of the psychologists approved guidelines in the face of pandemic, which is introduced by the Psychological Association of the Philippines, focusing on what you can control. There are times that what we would like to do and achieve this day, parang hindi talaga pwede. So do not force yourself to maybe beat yourself up about that. Be vigilant about the information you consume. Maraming fake news. Uh, Adopt a regular routine at home. Do things what you enjoy. Reach out to trusted friends and family, or seek help from the professional. So these are just some of the things that you may consider, because sometimes we are already stressed and out of the different pressures that we experience in our various subjects. Okay, so if you would like to maybe consult an expert about your mental health, no, you may contact this numbers, or maybe yung email nila. Kasi sabi ni Victor Frankl, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Kaya nga, we must be the change we wish to see the world. Okay, so yun, we do have also in the Philippines an organization which are helping people know how to cope up with the mental issues that they have experienced. To reflect on this, I guess you're familiar, no, with the movie Upside Out. I forgot the movie, but one of the characters in there is sadness. No, so you are sadness. No one can go through life feeling amazing all the time. It's normal to feel down every once in a while. So without the hard times, how would you know when we're in the good times? So parang Inside Out yung title ng movie. Okay, so maraming salamat. I'm going to see you all in our lecture later. So thank you, everyone. God bless us all.